If you want to get 30 hours of work done in a day, you can't do it yourself. You physically can't. There's only 24 hours in a day. So you have to buy somebody else's time to do that work. And in buying that time, what you need to take into consideration is...
what should I do after I have a prototype of an item I want to sell? I always recommend to people, if you have a prototype...
RMA's question from TikTok is, can you talk about fractional real estate? Well, yes, I can. Well, welcome back, Gummy.
How are you?
I'm good, man. How have you been?
I have been good.
You've been good?
Yeah.
Feeling better? Last time you had a sinus infection.
Oh, yeah.
You over that?
Yeah. Drugs help.
Drugs definitely help. That's true. Well, for those of you on TikTok, this is Start It or Scrap It. This is the podcast where we take your questions about running or... Thank you so much, Ethan. Ethan got me water. Thanks, Ethan.
Oh, did you get water?
Ethan got me water, yes.
I have one of these delicious Arnold Palmer's Light that you might want to try at some point.
Oh, really? What about it?
Do you know what? I actually have two.
Do you have two of them?
I brought you one in case you wanted to try it at some point.
Oh, I'm okay. Thank you so much.
They're absolutely delicious.
Are they? Are they scrumptious?
They're scrumptious.
Anyway, this is Start It or Scrap It. It's the podcast where we take your questions about starting, operating, running, closing a business, and try to give you advice on how to do such things. So if you're a business owner out there or you're looking to get involved in a business, please feel free to leave us a comment, and we'll try to get to your questions on the podcast today. And while we wait for those comments to come through to TikTok, we go to Reddit, we go to various subreddits and look for people that have questions on running their business. And we try to get them some great advice as well. So, but before we get to all that, I was away for the last couple of weeks. I'm back.
I know.
Better than ever. Ready to go.
Better than ever?
Better than ever, yes.
Where'd you go?
It was a great trip. It was in Athens for a couple days, and then we took a cruise. The cruise went to Mykonos in Greece, Montenegro, back to Corfu, which is also in Greece, and then Sicily, and then we ended up in Barcelona, and then flew home from Barcelona.
Okay. I was talking to someone yesterday that I think is doing that exact thing in 2 years.
Is that right?
Uh-huh.
It really was a great trip. One of the highlights for me though was Sicily, because we had this. I even forget what the excursion was. We had something planned, but there weren't enough people, so they canceled it.
Okay.
And we wound up going on this Godfather tour, where they actually took us to where they shot scenes from The Godfather.
Yeah.
It was really cool. It was
cool.
You got to see the church where Michael and Apollonia were married. You got to see where Michael meets the father and asks for her hand and all that. It was really cool to see all that.
I can tell you, when I have people that come in and visit me and I take them to New York, right? I always ask them before we go, I'm like, which tour do you want? Do you want the historic tour?
Right.
Do you want the touristy tour? Or do you want the movie tour?
That's
right?
true.
Because there are three totally different places that you go, right?
Now, which movie tour would you do?
So it depends on who it is that's coming. But like a lot of times, like my buddy that was here the last time, big action hero fan, loves Will Smith, all that stuff. Like, so we did the I Am Legend where...
I thought you were going to say Men in Black, but okay.
No, and then we did the Men in Black one too.
Okay.
We do like a bunch, like Ghostbusters, where the library,
Right.
So like...
I'd be partial to Saturday Night Fever.
Oh. It's not really in Manhattan though.
No, it's not Manhattan.
Most of the time they want to see like Manhattan.
Oh, okay. We say New York. I think New York in general.
You get like Times Square, the cathedral,
Right.
like they're all famous for different movies.
Yeah.
The bridge that goes up to the train station where I Am Legend.
Yep.
Where it's a lot of fun.
It is cool. No, it's fun to see those things because, especially, I mean, we're in Philadelphia. You and I, we're in the Philadelphia area right now, for those of you who don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So New York's a hop and a skip from us. So we go to New York, I don't know how often I go every year. Heck, my son goes to school across the river from New York. I'm up there all the time. So New York's like, it's cool, but we've seen it a million times. But for people that haven't been there, it's like, wow, I saw that in that movie and I saw this over here and it must be so exciting and fun. That's how I felt in Sicily.
Yeah.
That's how I felt seeing these things. Like, oh my, I could picture it, and then I would bring up on my phone and be like, yes, that's the church. Oh my God, there's the video.
Dude, I totally get it because I was 14 the first time I went to New York.
Yeah.
And I remember walking through, like, we went to Chinatown, and I'm like, I've seen this place a million times in movies, right? Like
Big Trouble in Little China,
Empire State Building, like all these like, and then like random landmarks, right? That you're like, this looks familiar. And then like, it takes you a while to put together what it's from. But yeah, I love those types of things.
Cool thing was when I first, because in a lot of TV shows, especially TV shows, they'll use like an outside picture of an actual place, but then the inside has nothing to do with.
You know what's weird though? They have these movie tours and stuff. Like this is a business idea for someone. Is they have movie tours in like California, right? Like go see the stars, blah 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 blah. Someone should do these movie tours in like New York, Philadelphia. I'm sure they do. I haven't seen it.
No.
Maybe there is.
I mean, Sixth Sense is all over Philadelphia. You could do at least 3 hours on a tour bus.
National Treasure.
National Treasure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of them that happen in Philly, New York, DC. Like someone should have the movie tour where like they literally tell you what movies were shot at whatever location and
then you can walk the grounds of where it was shot at maybe. Yeah. Especially something like National Treasure. Yeah, Sixth Sense. There's a lot of places where you could just, I mean, especially National Treasure, all Independence Hall area. It's all there.
Liberty Bell, all of it.
Liberty Bell, Betsy Ross House, everything's right there. Yeah. That's actually not a bad idea. So there you go. There's a business idea. Correct. Someone start that.
Yes.
I have to imagine that exists in some form.
I don't know. I have done a million tours of Philadelphia, and I've never seen anybody specifically advertise they do a movie tour.
All right. Anyone that's on TikTok right now, if you know of anyone in the Philadelphia or New York that does specifically for movie tours, put us in the comments because I'm just curious.
I looked it up a couple of times.
If only there were a way we could find. Oh, yeah. I was going to say, if only there were a way we could find out.
So now it's been years since I've done it.
Oh, okay.
Like, because I haven't had anybody really come visit that wants to do it since like, pre-pandemic.
Right.
But yeah, pre-pandemic, there was nothing. Like you had the duck tour, you had where they go past things and they may mention that there was a movie
and
shot.
Over there that was shot. Yeah, right. No, but this would be following in the steps of the movie. Yeah, right.
Or just or like taking you to different movie scenes. Like yeah, I think it would be cool.
It would be kind of cool.
I would do it.
Again, there's a lot of them, especially in Philadelphia and New York. So
I had an interesting conversation with a new business owner yesterday.
All right, tell me.
They've been in business 6 months, 8 months. These are the never-ending conversations I have with people that are in that 6 to 12 month range of starting their business.
Okay.
And it's the my buddy Griffin does movie tours. Mannequin, Sixth Sense, lots to see. Oh, cool.
This is from Random TikToker 13.
Hey,
okay.
Slide in the name of the business too.
All right. Yeah. Random TikToker. Give us the name of the business. We'll push it. I mean, that's great. I love to hear that. Anyway, go ahead. Go back to that.
So this is a conversation, and I have it over and over and over and over again with business owners that are in that 6 to 12 month stage. Right? Yeah. Where they're like, I'm working more than I did at my full-time job. And some of them are making more, some of them are making less, like on paper, you know how that works, right? But the big thing is they're all stuck in this, I'm doing everything, right? And yesterday I was having the conversation once again, same conversation I always have. I said, okay, make a list throughout the day of whatever it is you did that day, right? And do that for just 1 week. Just write it down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? And if you work Saturday, Sunday, write those things down. The following Monday, I want you to go through each of the days and check box. Did this generate revenue for the business or was this an expense item for the business, right? And then just add up how long each thing took. At the beginning of the following week, anything that was not a money-making activity, see if there's a way for you to delegate it,
right? So
you can focus on money-making activities. Because she was complaining like she has all these opportunities to do business, but she's like, I don't have time. And I'm like, I bet you have the time, but you have to buy the time to do it.
Right.
You have to buy someone else's time. So she's a physical therapist, right? She has an opportunity. She has an open invitation to set up a table with brochures and a banner at a pickleball place.
Oh, heck yeah.
Any day of the week, whenever she wants.
People get hurt in pickleball all the time.
She can just get set up and set her things up and stand there for an hour. I'm like, that's a money generating activity.
Absolutely.
You sending out billing reminders is not. Right? Like you can get an assistant to do that. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, but I'm having a hard time finding someone with like flexible hours. And I'm like, okay, let's go through some of the activities you do, right? That are non-revenue generating activities and when you do them, right? So she's like, okay, my billing, I do that late at night, but then I miss time with my family. I'm like, okay. So does billing matter when it's done? She's like, no. Okay. I'm like, what else? She's like, social media. I don't post anything. I know I should be putting something up every week and I'm not doing it. I'm like, okay. Does that have to be done at a specific time? No. Okay. Follow-up emails. Do they have to be done at a specific time? No. Just as long as they're done the day before. So we went through this entire list of things. And when we were done, I looked at her and said, you wouldn't happen to know a college student, would you? She goes, why? And I'm like, because you have nothing here that is required during the day or you don't have to hire a 9-to-5, none of it. You could hire a college student to do this part-time. They would probably be thrilled making $25 an hour doing admin work for you, and it's great experience for them. And she's like, oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, stop looking at, like, a lot of things don't require someone 9-to-5. They can be flex hours. They can be a side job for someone, right? And it buys a lot of your time back. So now on Thursdays from 4 to 6, you no longer are doing follow-up emails and catch-up work. You're actually out there marketing the business.
Right.
Right? Because we just bought you 2 hours back just by removing those things.
Yeah.
Right? But I think the hurdle for a lot of them is, well, but then I won't make as much money.
Yeah.
Right?
But you'll make more.
You'll make more,
you'll
right?
Make
like
more.
That's
You're
the
right.
thing.
You're not going to make as much. You're going to make more.
You're going to make more, right?
Because now that's 2 more hours you can generate more revenue.
Correct. And then that led us into her pricing conversation. And she was like, yeah, I'm in this training program for new business owners. And like, they keep telling me to raise my prices. So I asked her what her prices were. And one service she has, which is a profitable service, she charges $88 per session. And I go, okay, so out of that $88, how much is profit? How much goes towards marketing? How much goes towards rent? And she's
overhead,
like,
et cetera. Yeah.
She's like, I don't know.
Aye.
And I'm like, okay. So like, this is the easiest service to expand as well. I'm like, do you think people care whether it's 88 or 99? She goes, probably not. I'm like, okay.
And so how many of these do you do? Right.
Correct. Right. So we added up that if she raised her price from 88 to 99, she could hire the part-time person with only the hours that she's doing now without having to add any revenue.
There you go.
Right. And she was like, is that really how it works? I'm like, yes, that's exactly how it works.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh because people don't know. They really don't understand. They don't understand the financial aspect. It's not even the financial, it's the numbers. Mm-hmm. People don't understand numbers. People get scared of numbers.
Yes.
What people are used to, especially people that are coming from having a full-time job somewhere, is I know every week or every other week or how often you get paid, this amount of money gets put into my bank account.
Yes.
That's all they know.
Yes.
And now that doesn't happen anymore. No. They have a job, or they don't have a job. They have a business, and they don't know how much money is going to be in their bank account next week. And they are like terrified that they're not going to have enough money to support their life.
I kind of jokingly said for years that there's a difference between having a business and being self-employed.
Yeah.
Right. The step you take from being self-employed to having a business is when you can start relinquishing control to others.
Yeah.
Because now you can turn it into a business that actually makes money.
Yeah.
You can make a ton of money working for yourself. Don't get me wrong, right? But the moment you can sell other people's time, that is when you really start seeing.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about that a little bit. Yes. Selling people's time, right? I had this conversation quite often as well. So for the people out there that don't understand, when we're talking about selling someone's time, right? There's only, and we may have said this before in the podcast. I don't remember, but essentially, when you have a job, you are trading your hours for money.
Yes.
Right? But when you're a business owner, you are trading your money for somebody else's hours because there's only so many hours in a week or let's just say in a day. There's only so many hours in a day, right? Let's just call it 12 hours as a business owner you could work, right? Okay. You could work more than that, but let's say as the business owner, 12 hours. As a worker, federal law, 8 hours before overtime kicks in unless you're, let's just say 8 hours. So if you were to get 30 hours of work done in a day, you can't do it yourself. You physically can't. There's only 24 hours in a day.
Correct.
But let's even say there's only 12 hours in that day. So you have to buy somebody else's time to do that work, right? And it sounds simple when you hear it, but until you hear it, sometimes people don't think about it. And in buying that time, what you need to take into consideration is, okay, what is that person saving me? What is it that I don't have to do that this person's going to do? And it goes back to what you said earlier. Is it revenue generating or is it overhead?
Correct.
Right?
Or is it freeing me up to create?
Which I was going to say in a second. Exactly. Right. It's either revenue generating. Let's just say it's revenue generating or it's not. Right. And if it's not revenue generating, is it taking something away from me so that I can then generate revenue?
Correct. Is it time generating?
Is it time generating? Exactly. And the answer better be yes on one account or the other.
Correct.
It's either revenue generating for them to do it, or they're not generating revenue, but it gives you the opportunity to generate revenue.
Or frees up a sale. It has to free up someone's time that then generates revenue.
Exactly.
Right.
And then you take into account, all right, what am I paying this person arbitrarily? I'm paying them $25 an hour.
So I was just thinking about this.
Yeah.
Because we have the conversation about franchising every once in a while.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, really?
And no, what's brilliant is a lot of franchises in their FDD, their federal disclosure something, franchise disclosure. It's basically the document you have to file with the government, and included in that.
I think it's franchise disclosure documents, isn't it?
Yeah,
Anyway,
franchise disclosure document. Now, included in that are finances for the business, how the franchisee has been doing, right? Now, the cool thing is, and most people don't know this, is that California, any franchisor that files in California has to make their FDD publicly available through California Department of something.
Really? So it's like the SEC rules for publicly traded
Correct.
companies. Wow.
So that means if you are starting a window washing business and there's a window washing franchise in California,
you have the keys right there. You have the keys to the kingdom right there.
So it's not quite, I mean, it's not the training and all that stuff.
No, sure. But
you can go and download one of these documents, go to, I think it's section 7 or section 10, which is the financial disclosure portion,
right,
and see what an average franchisee is doing, right? That now gives you a baseline for what you could be doing as a business,
right,
regardless of where you are, right? Like now, California window washing is probably a lot more profitable than window washing in Vermont.
Sure.
Right? But at least gives you a baseline from someone else that's been doing it a lot of times for decades. And what that helps you see is how they structure what the owner is supposed to be doing. Because some franchisors make the owner the GM.
Right.
Some make them the business development rep. Some make them the HR manager, right? Like every franchisor, when they're looking for a franchisee, is looking for them to fill a specific position within their own franchise.
Right.
And utilizing that information, you can look at it and go, okay, so I don't know, let's take Dunkin' Donuts is expecting to have this in payroll. Well, divide that by, $20 an hour.
Yeah.
And that gives you an idea of how many billable hours they're expecting someone to have to work.
Right.
And then the revenue that is needed to offset those hours.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the numbers are already there. People just have to go in and.
But let's go back to the ones that aren't there. Right? If you don't have the access to information like that. So, and that's fantastic. I love that. I didn't know about that. That's great.
I just thought of it on my way here because
that'll help you in a lot of businesses, regardless if you're in California or not. It'll really help out.
People have no idea how much information is really in an FDD.
So, but if let's say you don't have access to that, or let's say it doesn't help you, it doesn't work for you, like you said, Vermont or whatever reason. When you are taking somebody as a worker, again, to either generate hours or generate money or generate hours, right? There's two different calculations you need to do depending on if they're generating money or revenue or generating hours.
Yep.
If they're generating revenue, it's a very simple calculation, at least for me, right? I usually do 3.5 times, right? Whatever I'm going to earn off of them, so whatever I'm going to pay them, I need to be earning 3 to 3.5 times off of what I'm paying them. So if I'm paying them $20 an hour, I need them to be generating $60 to $70 an hour for me.
Yes.
That's what I need to be. That's what I should be billing them out
So we do gross revenue per employee.
Yeah.
Right? Because like a lot of ours aren't, a lot of them aren't revenue generating, but they're actually doing the work.
Right.
Right. So we calculate it backwards. Is we know we need to hit certain gross revenue numbers to justify bringing in a new employee.
Yep.
So we do the math, right? Okay. Who is doing the sales? Whoever that is should not be doing any work that is not sales related.
Right.
Right. But they have to bring in enough revenue to cover everybody else.
Yep.
So, and it's honestly, it's simple math, right? So like for us, the number is 140.
Okay.
Right? Give or take, depending on whether we're taking a new person in, whatever. But for every 140,000 in gross revenue we have an employee, basically, is what it boils down to. So it's simple math from that point on. If I want to get a new employee, go close 140K worth of deals,
that's good
right?
that's good for an established business. Yeah. If you have an established business, a good track record, you have good financials, you can absolutely do that math.
But you can do that. We started doing that when I started.
Oh.
Right? Like I literally looked at the numbers and said, okay, I am now making a living off of this, making an okay salary, like my second year in business. And I was like, okay, I need someone else because I am not going to get any further. I'm maxed out between being out selling and doing back end work.
Right.
Right. So I just looked at it and said, okay, so if I bring in a person, I need to hit X number in revenue in order to pay them Y. Right. So I can either do that by hiring someone to do back end work or hiring a salesperson and I do the back end work.
Right.
So a lot of times people hire back-end workers first. I actually hired a sales rep first.
Okay.
Because I sat down and I looked at it and said, now I can double the amount of sales that we're doing because she'll be out selling all day, every day. I can still go out and sell 4 to 5 hours a day and I can do the back-end work at night.
Right.
Right. So to me, that made more sense from my perspective.
No, it makes sense. Sure.
For other people, it may be the other way around. Hire back-end people that do the work so you can go out and sell more. What it really comes down to a lot of times is what are you good at and what are you not good at? Like if you are not really good at sales and you just kind of luck your way into whatever revenue, you should probably hire a salesperson and focus on the back end work, right? Like, yeah.
All right, so everyone on TikTok, if you have questions, what?
We just got one.
We did?
I have a question.
Very cool.
What should I do after I have a prototype of an item I want to sell?
Oh, what you do if you have a prototype? Okay, we've talked about this quite a few times.
We have talked about it.
Go ahead, Gummy, while you fill your cup with your delicious Arizona iced tea.
So, I mean, the first thing is legally making sure that it's not infringing, which is all you, right? Like that it's not too similar to another product.
That technically is, let's assume we're beyond that phase. We have a prototype built and we're ready to get it into the market.
Okay, and we already made sure that it's not infringing on any patents.
Let's assume there's no patent issue or anything like that.
I always recommend to people, if you have a prototype, go find a manufacturer that can make the prototype, right? Once you have the manufacturer, start pre-selling the item.
Pre-sell, pre-sell, yes.
Don't manufacture first and then sell.
Right.
See how many units you can sell on pre-orders.
And see if you can get a couple of bucks too on pre-orders.
Well, yes. So like, because you can always refund the pre-orders if you don't go into production, right? But if you've already talked to the manufacturer, you know what your unit cost is going to be based on volume, right? So you can take the pre-orders to be whatever the highest manufacturing cost is per unit. So let's say you have a $100 item, your manufacturing cost is $25 on the high end when you're manufacturing a low volume, then that's the deposit that you take, right? Once you have enough orders to be able to cover the full order, have the items made, and then you keep the excess. You should now have basically covered all your manufacturing cost and still have items to sell. The leftover items are your profit.
Now, here's another approach that I learned about several years ago, but I've never done this. And you may know the truth, the reality of this or not, but I looked it up and it seems very legitimate. It seems very, very real. So if you have a prototype of a product and you go to a large distributor like a Walmart or something like that, and Walmart loves it. They say, yes, we want 100,000 of these things, right? We did talk about this. Okay, great.
I told you about my buddy that had the,
the bikes.
Yes,
right.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did.
Right. So you can then take that purchase order from Walmart and go to a bank, and the bank will loan you money based off of that purchase order.
100%.
So that you don't actually have to put much cash out to get this stuff created and then sold to Walmart.
Yeah. My buddy sold 4 containers of those as I
thought we had talked about this as well. I learned about this years ago, but I thought we talked about it too.
That was a sample order from Walmart when those things first came out.
Yeah.
He only had a prototype or 2. And then once Walmart said, yes, we want XYZ number of these units. They signed the dotted line. There's the contract. Delivery is in 90 days or 6 months, whatever it was. Now all he had to do was go find or go have it manufactured. And he already had talked to the manufacturer. He knew how long the production time was going to take, how long the shipping time. So he knew what to negotiate.
And who, by the way, who asked that question?
30 Dark Nights.
30 Dark Nights. Thank you for the question. That's great. Hopefully that answers your head. That's a couple of ideas on what to do.
Just make sure before you start any type of mass production, if you haven't done it, that you are not infringing on some kind of.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that very briefly. So patent research is incredibly important. Okay. If you're talking about a prototype, obviously you're talking about a physical product. Well, not obviously, but I'm going to assume you're talking about a physical product. So it's very, very important to do patent research first. And please don't try to do it yourself. Let's put it this way. I'm an experienced attorney in intellectual property, and I can't do patent search very well. I'm not a patent attorney. Patent attorneys are they're their own thing, right? They sold to be barred attorneys, but there's a separate bar for patent.
Just to give people an idea, right? There was a guy that was making stickers to put on credit cards. Right. So like it would leave the little chip open, but then you could get a sticker on it. He had all kinds of like cool designs. You could get custom stuff.
Right.
He got hit with a cease and desist.
Get out of here.
Apparently someone had patented that idea, never put it into production.
Yeah, I'll explain that.
But they own the patent rights. So he wasn't, and like it wasn't like he was trying to mass produce these things. He was literally selling them as like an Etsy seller.
Here's what happens.
It was enough that he got slapped with it.
And there's a question here from RMA. We'll get to you in a few minutes, RMA, I promise. But back to the thing about patents. So here's what happens, right? There are companies out there, they're called patent trolls, right? And what they do is they hire very intelligent people as think tanks. And all they do is come up with ideas that they can patent. And I'll be on my soapbox for just a second here. I don't like our patent system. Our patent system has no incentive or requirement that you actually build the product that you patent.
Correct.
And so what that allows people to do is to say, here's an idea that already exists in many cases. I'm just going to make it a little change to it, and I'm going to patent that. And I want to make another change, and I'm going to patent that. And they will patent literally thousands of ideas, but they have no intent on ever making any of these products, ever. And they wait for someone else to come up with, to think of that idea and to put their time, money, and effort into building it, and then hit them with cease and desist and lawsuits. And thank you very much for all that, all those products you made. We're going to take them from you and go sell them now.
There's also some of them that go in, have the patent, and then just negotiate a
royalty fee
for being able to produce it.
Just for coming up with the idea sooner. And that's just something that drives me crazy with the patent, with the way our patents work in this country.
How much does it cost to avoid? Does it require to avoid? How much change does the item require to avoid?
Oh, that's a loaded question. There's so, I mean,
it depends on what it is.
Yeah, it really depends. Are we talking utility patent? Or there's all kinds of different patents out there.
Talk to a patent attorney.
Yeah, you got to talk to a patent. I know that's a cop-out answer, but when it comes to patents, you really need to talk to a patent attorney. It's almost like when we talk about trademark. When we talk about trademark, you really need to talk to an attorney because there's so many little nuances with the rule.
Did I ever tell you the story of this guy that I met? And it's almost like it's always the most random people you meet, right? So I was done playing golf. The other guys left, but I go by myself. I go sit at, like I wanted something to eat before I left, right? Yeah. So I go into the restaurant. I just sit at the bar because I'm by myself, and there's a guy sitting like 2 seats down. So we start talking, and of course the question comes up, hey, what do you do? And he's like, well, I don't work. He's like, I make money from this patent that I have. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I invented this pipe fitting. He was originally a plumber.
Okay.
And he invented a pipe fitting.
Oh, yeah, we did talk about this.
Got it patented, right? Yeah. And then some giant manufacturer came in, saw the patent, and wanted to pay him royalties.
Love it. That's great. And that I'm fine with.
He makes something like, I don't know, a nickel per fitting or whatever it is. And he makes millions, because they manufacture like hundreds of thousands of these units every month, right? But it was just for coming up with the idea, being smart enough to patent it. He never built the prototype, but the pipe company saw it, wanted to do it, and made a deal with him.
Yeah, and I was like, that's a legitimate use. I'm going to assume this person patented the idea with the intention of possibly manufacturing it, or maybe going to a manufacturer, because that's the other thing. If you have an idea and you want to bring it to somebody else, patent it first.
Yes,
that I'm okay with. I don't like the idea of patenting things just because you can, and then waiting for someone else to do it so that you can then sue them. Yeah. That drives me crazy. That drives me. I hate that. I hate that about the law sometimes.
I get it.
All right, so RMA had a question. RMA's question from TikTok is, can you talk about fractional real estate? Why, yes, I can.
Well, I cannot.
Oh, yeah, you can. But you'll know in a heartbeat what this is.
Okay.
So fractional real estate, sometimes known as timeshares, right? It's timeshare is a part of fractional real estate. Fractional real estate isn't necessarily timeshare.
It's also the one where like you can buy into an investment company that owns 200 condos.
Exactly. Right. You're if the company owns 500 units,
I know what that is.
Say arbitrarily 1 million square feet, right? And you're going to buy a fraction of those units. You're going to pay $50,000 to get of the 1 million square feet, 5,000 of those square feet, or whatever the number is, right? That's fractional real estate.
Okay.
Now I don't know exactly what RMA is asking, like what he wants to hear, but we'll go into it a little bit. So fractional real estate is really nothing more than investment. It could be, and it doesn't have to be over hundreds or thousands of units. It could be over 1 or 2 units, right? You and I could get together, put half the money down, I put the other half down, buy a property, and that's technically fractional real estate. You own half, I own half, right? We don't own the whole. It's a fraction. It's right in the name. It really is that simple. And it allows us to, but realistically, it allows multiple people to get together. Investors, most of the time don't even know each other, but their money gets pooled together, and they'll buy property, and then that property usually gets rented out, or sometimes it gets fixed up and flipped, and then the money gets returned, and everyone splits. It's just like any other investment, right? With fractional real estate,
which is funny because my old landlord that owns the commercial real estate, that's basically what he does. So he has multiple LLCs. Yeah, they own. I mean, if you drive up 309, he owns like 10 shopping centers from here to Quakertown.
Oh, wow. Fractionally.
Right? So he's the GM for the investment company. Every unit or every plaza is its own LLC with different partners.
Okay.
So he's always the primary partner in all of them, and then he takes on other partners, and they run commercial real estate. Like I said, they own 10 or 12 plazas between here and Quakertown.
Sure.
But that's fractional.
Here's where you can run into trouble with fractional real estate if you're not careful, okay? If I were to buy, $10,000 shares of Apple stock, right? I give my $10,000 to E-Trade, Morgan Stanley, whoever it is. Maybe there's a small fee associated, and now I have my 10,000 shares. right? With the exception of dividends and stuff like that. That's it. I paid $10,000. That's it. I'm not paying any more money into it. Doesn't necessarily work like that with fractional real estate, because what happens is there's management fees, especially if you have multiple properties. There's taxes, there's repairs and maintenance, et cetera, et cetera. Even if you're renting the properties out, which that is usually what it's for. It's to rent. A lot of times it's commercial. You're renting out the commercial properties. Well, what if the property's vacant for 6 months? Still got to pay taxes, still have to pay electric, still have to pay water, right?
So you can get hit with additional.
You will get hit based off of how much you owe or how much you own. You'll get hit with, or depending on how the fractional agreement is written. But most of them will do that because someone's got to pay that bill, right? So you might put up 50 thinking that's it, I'm done. That's not necessarily the case. No. You might be putting in another 10 or 15 over the next year.
Yep.
And you didn't even realize it. So you have to be careful with fractional real estate.
Do you know what? So talking about real estate reminds me, at some point we have to dig into commercial leases. Because people don't know. People don't know the difference between like a triple net lease and an all-inclusive lease.
No, you're absolutely right. We should do a show just on leases.
Yeah,
No, I'm serious. I could give a whole hour talk on how horrible commercial leases are.
They are incredibly horrible if you don't know what.
If you don't know what you're doing, they will take advantage of you to no end.
Oh yeah, I had a client that. I still can't believe he did this. He signed a lease, triple net lease, with a profit sharing clause in it.
No.
Yes.
Triple net and profit sharing?
Triple net
had to be in a mall.
It was in a strip mall.
Had to be in a mall. Yeah.
No, it was a strip mall.
Yep. Had to be.
And it was funny because a new property management company bought the property and he was able to renegotiate his lease.
Yeah.
He didn't realize how big that profit sharing number ended up being because it looked like a tiny percentage.
Yeah.
But when he realized it was off gross sales, it wasn't off.
So it's not even profit sharing.
Well, no, sorry. It was,
it's revenue sharing.
Revenue sharing.
Oh.
And I was like, why would you sign that? He's like, well, I didn't know any better. He's like, I'm a cook. He's like, I cook things. I don't read contracts.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's what an attorney does.
I know someone that does. I know there's a specific profession that reads contracts. What are they called again?
Yeah,
and
he's they're called attorneys.
He's like, I know that now. He's like, but I was all excited. I was starting my business, opening my first restaurant. He was like, that was not one of the things anybody taught me. He was like, I just thought people were fair.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like,
no.
Let's assume most people are fair, but even still, do not sign a lease or a contract until you understand what you're signing. Like one of my other clients signed a triple net lease in another building that has like, I don't know, they have 30 units. It's 2 buildings, right? But it's considered one plaza. Well, the unit behind theirs, not even the building they're in, the building behind them needed a new roof. Well, they were part of having to pay for that. Even though it wasn't even the building they were in. Right? Because the 2 buildings were under...
It's a condo or something. Yeah, some type of condo association. Yep.
So they got hit with like a $17,000 roofing bill to redo the roof on a building they aren't in.
All right. I will make this pledge to everyone on TikTok and on Reddit. We will do an episode just on commercial leases, or at least a good part of it. I'll say that in a second.
Fractional oil wells.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. So because it is incredibly important. We'll announce it beforehand, so hopefully you can watch when it does. Tom F comes in and says that he used to do fractional on oil wells. Yes, actually my uncle does that.
Yeah.
He's with a bunch of energy companies, and he 50,000 here, 20,000 there, and it's like, personally, and Tom, I hope it's been very, very beneficial to you. I really do. Personally, that would terrify me.
Isn't that what Jerry Jones used to do?
Oh, I don't know.
I think that's where Jerry Jones got started.
Really?
And then he had a couple of wells that hit.
Oh, okay.
Because I was watching the documentary on him.
Oh, well,
the Cowboys.
You would know better than I would.
The Cowboys documentary. I think I remember in the beginning he was saying like he was doing oil wells, like fractional oil wells, and possibly by himself, and he hit big on an oil well, and he remembers telling someone, I forget exactly, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is the well that's going to buy me the Cowboys.
And it did.
Yes.
And it actually wound up happening. That's funny. So, all right, RMA, thank you for your question on fractional real estate. I hope we gave you some information on it. If you need more.
Now, let's get down to the one last thing.
What?
Do we think fractional real estate is a good idea as far as investments go?
It can be. It absolutely can be. And it depends on how it's set up. So some of them are set up where there's already a management company in place. It's already paid for. It already has an endowment that funds the management company, so you don't have to pay for that separately. That includes taxes and everything like that. So your 50 grand, 100 grand, 10 grand, whatever it is, that's all you have to put in. Those are generally better. I'm not going to say 100% safe, but they're better than ones where they always can go back to the fractional owners and ask for more money. Those are the ones you have to watch out for, because what winds up happening in some cases, and I'm not going to call it a scam or anything because it's not, but they're mismanaged, and then they come back to the fractional owners and say, hey, we need more money. And what you're doing now is you're throwing good money against bad.
Yes.
Because you're trying to protect that 100 grand you put in there. Okay, I got to put another 10,000 to defend it. Next thing you know, 3 or 4 years later, you put 250 into it.
Yeah. So the bottom line is, do your homework just like you would with any other investment, right? Just like you would starting a business, just like you would hopefully buying stocks or bonds or any of that stuff. Do your homework before you throw money at anything that's fractional.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd be real careful with that.
We've got another question too.
All right. This is from Jackson, who says, first year I've made significant income as an independent contractor, need guidance on taxes. Oh, we should bring in Jennifer.
Jen.
Yeah, we should bring in Jen for that one day.
So that's a great question.
It's a great question.
And this is the time you start. You start planning. I literally just got off the phone with my CPA this morning. Now, the thing is, my CPA is also what they call a tax strategist.
Right.
Which is why we start talking in October, not in December or January when taxes are due.
Or April as they're filling everything out.
Right. We start talking now because there is a bunch of things that you can do when you are making money as a contractor or an independent contractor that will allow you to lessen your tax burden.
Yep.
Because otherwise you're going to get hit with a monster bill.
Yeah.
And just to give you an idea, one of our buddies was having the same issues. His old CPA bookkeeper calls him and goes, hey, you're going to owe $70,000 in taxes, right? So he calls me and he's like, I have to pay $70K in taxes.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, A, be glad because that means you're making money. B, here's a phone number for someone you need to call.
Yeah.
And they lowered their taxable burden from, his tax bill went from $70K to $4,000, right? There are a bunch of stuff that you get access to when you are a contractor that employees don't get access to. Right.
Mileage write-offs, things like that.
Besides that, even things like things where you can put money in where you don't get taxed until you retire on it. Right. So that's called tax deference, right? Which is one of the most common strategies for lowering your tax burden is just moving that income from now to the future when you expect to be making less.
So I'm going to chime in on a couple things.
I haven't started an LLC, which I think I need to do. Yes. Yesterday.
Question number 2. We'll get to that. Yes.
Yesterday.
Let me get to that part first. Let me get to the tax thing first.
Yeah.
I preface this, and I have to preface this with I'm not a tax attorney.
Yep.
I'm not a CPA. I know enough to be dangerous, but this is not tax advice. I'm just going to tell you what I did in the past.
Okay.
You can talk to your accountant about that.
Did you go buy the Mercedes?
I did not. No. What I did when I first started out, it was all about, okay, how do I make sure I have enough money to pay my taxes at the end of the year?
Yeah.
Right. And there are 2 things that take into consideration. And this is where a lot of independent contractors get burnt. They don't understand that this is what happens. So when you work for somebody else, right, and you get your paycheck and all those taxes are taken out, your FICA, your local, et cetera, all that stuff is going to be taxable to you as well when you're an independent contractor.
Yes.
Okay. But there's one difference, and most people don't know this. Social Security and Medicare tax, which are part of your FICA, your federal taxes, we pay as the employee, you pay as the employee 6%, I believe it is, right? The employer is what's called the employer match. They also pay 7.6%. So if you're, let's just say if you're making $1,000 a week, you personally are paying $76 into your Social Security and Medicare fund. Your employer is matching that $76 for a grand total of $152.
Correct.
Okay. When you are the independent contractor, you are both the employer and the employee, which means you're paying both sides of that. Correct. And people don't take that into consideration. Yes. And they think, okay, I'm just going to look at my pay stub from my old job. All right, I paid this, so I can take that number and figure, okay, here's how much I'm going to owe. You must double the Social Security and Medicare, and so people wind up getting hit with $20,000, $30,000 tax bills.
As a rule of thumb, for every $100 you earn as an employee, the employer is paying $35 somewhere that you don't see.
Right.
Right. When you become an independent contractor, that $35
is yours. You got to pay.
Becomes your responsibility.
Your responsibility to pay. So that's my little bit of how I did tax for myself when I was an independent contractor, because I did that as well years ago.
But also a tax strategist will also help you, especially when you have an LLC, which you should be forming right now.
Yes, we'll talk about that in a second.
On your laptop while you're on this live.
Have you done it yet?
But so, for example, I didn't realize that there are what they call capital expenditures.
Yep.
Right. So like 3 years ago, we were on track to make quite a bit of money. And I was like, I don't have enough that I can put money into for tax deference. Well, that year they had made the capital investment clause bigger than the previous year. So my tax strategy goes, is there any expensive equipment that you need?
Yeah.
And I go, well, I need this printer and it's like $48,000. She's like, go buy it.
Go buy it now.
Go buy it before the end of the year.
Yep.
Make sure you get that invoice before December 31st.
Yep.
You don't have to take possession of the unit, but just make sure you have the invoice and ideally that you have paid for it. She's like, we can write 100% of it off this year.
Yeah.
48,000 tax burn, and I get a new piece of equipment.
Huge bottom line.
Huge. Right? But that's the difference between what a tax strategist will do and what a CPA will do. The CPA would have talked to me in January or February. The tax strategist talked to me in September, October about what we could do to defer taxes, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, there was this there's this giant Mercedes SUV that they make.
Oh yeah.
It falls over, I think it's 6 tons.
Yeah.
Is it the 6 ton rule?
Yeah. It's 6. I think
that car.
I forget what it is. I think it's 6 tons.
I think there's a stat somewhere that car sells almost all the units
at the end of the year.
Sell in December.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? It's because every single business owner that wants a tax deference and wants to buy something, that's what they go buy because they can write all of it off in that tax year. Right?
So for people that don't know, so there's a rule with again, not tax advice, just there's a rule somewhere in the tax law that if you purchase a vehicle over a certain weight for your business, you can basically use the money that you've spent as a write-off for your business and then pay less in taxes over, for that year.
So since he's saying he hasn't had any guidance.
Yeah, so Jackson here is saying, he hasn't had any guidance, haven't spent a dime, just put it on a high yield savings. Good for you.
That is very good
for you.
Very good for you. I can tell you, I drive a Camry. That's okay. That's okay, right? Go talk to a tax strategist, go form your LLC. You're on the right track. You haven't done anything dumb yet.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you a buddy of mine did something very dumb. He was an independent contractor, made a boatload of money. He has a tendency of spending whatever's in his bank account. So he spent all his money. Then they filed his taxes and he had a huge tax bill and he couldn't pay it. And he wasn't making enough every month to be able to just cover the complete tax bill. Well, let me tell you what the government does when you owe them money.
Don't they send you very nice letters and fruit baskets?
They send you very nice letters like, please pay this. We're not going to charge you any late fees. We're not going to charge you any interest.
That sounds like the government.
Would never do that.
They would never do that. And a fruit basket too, right?
Correct. They send you edible arrangements. That is very popular with them. But no, so basically my buddy's tax debt almost doubled because he couldn't.
fines and penalties,
Every time he was making payments, he was basically paying off the fines and
fines
the
and penalties,
fees and penalties. And it took him 7 years.
Oh, man.
To get out of that tax hole.
Yep.
Right.
And there's no escaping it.
No.
You can't file for bankruptcy.
Nope.
You can't. There is no escaping it.
Nope. No.
Death is the only thing I can think of.
Pretty much, right? So, like, and this brings me into, if you are in a situation where your business is failing and you know it's failing, the only thing you should be paying off is whatever you owe the government.
Yeah.
That should be the first thing you pay off.
Yep.
Because
that won't go away.
It doesn't go away.
If your business fails
and
you owe somebody else, like some vendor money, that can be taken care of in bankruptcy, restructuring, what have you.
Yes.
But tax debt?
No.
Cannot.
Nope. Whether it's state or federal,
local, doesn't matter.
They will hunt you down till they have their money.
They absolutely will.
But I'm glad that calmed your nerves. But yeah, when you go look, remember, tax strategist. It can be a CPA, but they have to be a tax strategist, and they will help you through this to figure out how to minimize your tax payments.
Yeah. And Jackson, if you're anyone else out there on TikTok, and if you have a question about this, if you're in Pennsylvania, let us know. Ethan's at the helm over there. You send Ethan your info. We'll hook you up with the person you should be using. Jen, she's phenomenal.
Yes,
and we'll talk more about Jen later on. But Jen's a phenomenal tax strategist.
She also works in other states. So
does she?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, she does. She does at least, I know, Florida, because she has a bunch.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know this?
Hence, I didn't know.
Yeah. So she's done a lot of. Does she work in Georgia? I'll find out. If you send it to the Turkanian social, send him your contact info, and I'll reach out to Jen and ask her.
Yeah.
But yeah, because she has a lot of real estate clients.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
So they have a tendency of buying real estate all over. Yeah. So anytime they go into a new state, she goes and gets licensed there.
That makes sense.
I know she's Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Florida. Like there's a bunch of states.
Yeah, we got to find out which state she's in, because I have a feeling people are going to need her help. All right, very cool.
We almost hooked her up. There's this lady on YouTube that has like 1 million followers that does real estate, and they had asked me, like, do you know a CPA or a tax strategist that does real estate? And I hooked them up because they're really big in Florida. Yeah. So like I knew she was licensed there in a few other states, and a lot of times a tax strategist can work with you no matter where you are, but it's primarily focused on the federal side. They may not be as
with like the individual state, but the federal is what you got to worry about anyway.
and the tax strategist can also work and plan with you. They just can't sign off on your taxes when it's time to file them.
Yeah, and keep in mind, and I will probably end this part of the segment with this. The tax strategist doesn't necessarily need to be the person who files your taxes.
Correct.
Right? It could just be the person who helps you prepare what you need to do for your end of your filing.
Okay.
So it doesn't necessarily need to be the person who files it. So that's a very good point as well.
So Jackson, that's it. Just get your info to him, and we'll get you hooked up with someone.
All right. Wow. It's been a minute. It's been 50 minutes. we haven't even gotten to ready yet.
But this is our very first episode where we've only taken questions from TikTok, isn't it?
In fact, someone else give us a question on TikTok so we can call it an all TikTok episode. Let's give it a minute. But there was a question about the LLC earlier, so let's get to that.
Oh, that was him too.
Yeah.
Whether he should set up an LLC.
About setting up an LLC. Since you mentioned you didn't have any guidance, Jackson, let me explain. So for those of you who don't know, the purpose of having an LLC or a corporation is to stave off liability from your personal assets. So if you have an LLC, we'll stick with LLCs, but it works the same for corporations. If you have an LLC, the LLC is like there's a wall between you and the business. So let's say here, right? So this is our wall right here. Okay, on this side is you, on this side is the business. And if somebody sues the business, and let's say they win, and they win $1 million lawsuit for whatever reason, and the business only has $50,000 in assets, they can't get through this wall to your personal assets.
Yep.
Yes, there are ways to do it, but we're not going to get into that right now. But for the most part, they can't get to your personal assets. That means your house, your savings, if you have kids, your college fund, whatever it is, right? That's why you set up an LLC That's one reason to set up an LLC, is because of that liability protection.
And also because of taxes.
And I was going to say another reason is because with LLCs and corporations, you get certain tax advantages that you won't get as an independent.
And you also get certain write-offs.
Right.
There's a bunch of stuff that comes with getting a business, right?
There's something that's called an S corp, which is a tax election, where if you're an LLC or a corporation, you can elect to have this S corp tax status, and again, talk to your accountant about it, but you can save a lot of money on taxes, a lot of money.
What people tend to forget is the tax system is built around businesses,
right?
Not around individuals, right? Like the goal is to tax the individual and make that as simple for the government as possible. But the vast majority of tax benefits go to businesses.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's just the way the system is designed.
Right.
Because businesses generate jobs.
Yes.
So yes, when you're looking at tax benefits, having a business is always more beneficial.
Now Ken here says, yes, but a good or a bad lawyer can and will pierce the veil. They can try. They can absolutely try. And if you don't do the right things in running your business, they'll be successful.
Yes.
And I would say the number one thing, there's a few out there that will, some things that you can do where you'll lose your protection. But the number one thing is the commingling of money.
Yes.
Right. And here's where people get into trouble all the time. Customer pays you in cash, and you put the cash in your pocket instead of into the company's bank account. Mm-hmm. You lost your liability protection. Correct. Going forward. It's done. It's over.
Yep.
Okay. Another way is you have a company credit card, and you use that company credit card to take the kids to ice cream.
Yep.
Or something like that, and you don't record it and pay the company back. Mm-hmm. You will lose your protection,
or take it as an owner draw,
or take it. Well, but if you didn't record, I'm saying if you didn't record it properly, okay, you will lose your protection.
Yep.
If you don't keep your annual minutes for your company, your meetings, shareholder meetings, even if you're the sole owner, right, you will lose your protection. Yep. So there are a lot of things that you do.
So I actually take advantage of the minutes.
Yes.
So I take myself to Texas Roadhouse once a year.
Yeah.
For dinner.
Yep.
And that's my annual shareholder meeting.
You can absolutely do that.
And it's me, and I sit there and have a nice steak, and I
you
write
record
the
your
minutes.
Yeah.
And then I sign
even
them.
if the minutes say there was no new business, end of meeting.
Yes.
Right. As long as you're recording that every year, you're in good shape.
Mine normally is somewhat loosely associated with my goals for the following year and what we didn't do this year. So it's like we had an overall decent year, didn't quite hit our benchmarks.
And you're writing this to yourself.
Yes.
But that's okay.
Correct.
Because what you're doing, okay, because what you have to remember, and Ken, I want you to listen to this. This is where, again, people fail, and this is why that veil gets pierced. A business, an entity like an LLC or corporation is supposed to be a distinct and separate entity from yourself.
Yep.
And if you do anything where you combine the two together, again, commingling of funds, not keeping proper records, not not addressing the bank account or anything like that, all those kinds of things, then you're not treating the business as a separate entity.
Correct.
And if you go before a judge, and like you said, a good lawyer finds paperwork that shows you weren't treating it like a separate entity, yes, you will lose your protection.
Yep.
But if you do the right things, if you work with a lawyer, if you're keeping the right records, no, they're not going to be able to pierce that veil and get to your personal assets. It becomes
very hard.
It becomes very, very difficult
That's why,
to do.
like I tell the guys, because I work with a lot of contractors and stuff, right? And every once in a while I get the question, hey, the customer wants to pay me in cash. Should I do it?
No.
I'm like, no. I'm like, what happens? Let's say you built a deck for the customer. And heaven forbid something happens. The boards, there's something wrong with the boards. You forgot to tighten one of them. Their kit slides. The board is loose. The kid breaks its neck. That's now all on you.
All on you.
All on you. You no longer have the business protection. Your business insurance won't kick in. You will lose all of that. So ask yourself, is it worth the risk?
Yep.
Right? Because it's tempting when someone hands you 15 grand in cash to go, ooh, I don't have to pay taxes on this.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'll tell you the other side of it too. is when they write you a check, because if it's a homeowner, it's usually a personal check. They're not 1099ing you. So a lot of contractors will take that check right to the check cashing place. You just lost your liability protection. Lost it. It's gone. I have a buddy who owns a check cashing place. That's 90% of his customers are contractors. That come in with homeowner checks and they cash it at the check cashing place.
But you're losing all the...
But they don't know that. They don't think about that. All they're thinking about is the job they did. I did my job. Where's my money? I'm good to go. They're not thinking about what could happen in the future. So you mentioned decks. I'll give you an example. I have a friend, Peter, who you met him before, and he does decks and such. And he built a deck out in Jersey, followed manufacturer specs, and he's been doing it for 30 years. The guy knows how to build decks. And everything was perfect according to plan. The deck was done. It was great. A month later, all of the material wood warped. And it warped because the manufacturer did not put in, or at least that's my understanding, did not put into their information that there's a certain level of airflow that has to get through. Well, the airflow they had in their documentation apparently was different than the actual airflow needed, and it caused all the wood to warp.
It's humidity. And,
yes. And it'd be based on where you are in the country, et cetera, and all the wood with the entire deck, a $60,000 deck, ruined.
They sent him the specs for Arizona instead of Jersey.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know exactly what happened, and it was a big mess, and there was a giant lawsuit over it, so that kind of stuff happens. So yes, you can lose your liability protection. But if you do things the right way, that won't happen to you. So again, if you're going to set up an LLC, work with an attorney or something like that. All right.
And make sure you keep them separate.
Keep them separate.
We can't stress this enough.
Seriously, I can't.
Make sure that there is never a way an attorney can pierce the corporate veil under any circumstances. In fact,
what you might want to do is if you're getting there now, if you're like, okay, how do I've been in business for 10 years. What do I do right now? Have an attorney review your business practices.
And I will give people right now a piece of advice that most people never get because they don't know about it, is if you own an LLC, right? And I just had our buddy Joe do this.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's so easy to grab the company credit card or grab money from the business to pay for something when you need it, whether it's tires, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Figure out what you want to pay yourself on a monthly basis.
Right.
Then find a PEO. Hire that PEO to handle your payroll. They will deposit it like you're an employee. They'll take care of all your taxes. They'll take care of all that stuff.
And the PEO is?
Professional Employer Organization. Right? So, because a lot of times... sometimes you're not allowed to put yourself on the payroll if you are the sole proprietor.
Right.
Right? A PEO is a way around that. So, for example, I put myself on the payroll. And the reason I put myself on the payroll was, and this is another one of those practical things, is I was trying to get a mortgage, right? And it was easier for me just to show up with a W-2 and get the mortgage that way than it was to show as a business owner and all the hurdles and things you have to jump through. But that's when I found out I couldn't put myself on the payroll. So I went and hired a PEO. I now get a W-2 and I can use it like any other. There's just a lot of stuff that comes with it. And it also makes sure that now you have your funds.
Yep.
If it's not in your account, don't spend it. Don't spend the company money on anything personal. Just treat yourself as an employee of the company.
Correct.
You don't have access to company funds.
Right.
If you do, the call should be, hey, CPA, I'm doing a $5,000 draw from the business. Can you please make sure it's logged properly?
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
And because the money thing is the one that normally pierces the veil.
It really is. And
90% of the time.
And people... And where people get into trouble is they're stuck somewhere. Not stuck, but they're somewhere and they don't have enough cash. And they left their credit cards at home, but they have the company card. It's so easy to just say, here you go.
Yeah, another one is they get a big repair bill. They take the card to the shop, right? And it's like $2,400. And they're like, well, I don't have that in my account. I'll just swipe the company card.
Yeah.
Soon as you swipe that card, call the bookkeeper. Yeah. Hey, I just took a draw from the business. Please log it properly.
Exactly. All right, so we have another question here. This is also from Ken. Says, what type of trust can a person create to carry on the family business for, quote, ever and still control? That's an interesting one.
So before you do the family business forever, remember that the third
generation always destroys the business.
Yes.
I know.
So you may not want it to be forever.
That rule is like, it's so true. I don't know why, but it's so true. Let's just say the grandfather starts the business.
Yep.
He's all in because he started it.
Yep.
The father usually grows up with the business, and he wants to do it too,
and remembers the struggles.
Right,
and all
exactly.
those
Yeah,
things.
because he saw the father struggling to get it done. But
Third
then
generation.
now, if you're talking about third generation, you're talking about 30, 40 years later. The business is doing well.
Yep.
Lots of money, probably.
Yep.
The kid probably grows up in money.
So what's funny is he says, "I'm fourth generation."
Oh, really?
Yes, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
The fourth generation normally is
rebuilds it.
Yes.
Yeah, they rebuild
They're
it. Yes.
the rebuilder.
They're the rebuilder because the third generation often destroys it. Hopefully, Ken, that didn't happen to you and your family, but
and it also depends.
True.
But it also depends on the type of business. Right?
It does.
Now, to answer his question, can you put the business into a trust so that if you want to pass it on to future generations, can you do so? Oh, it's a farm. That's awesome.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, what state? What state are you guys in, Ken? Let us know. I want to know what state you're in. All right. So we're getting close to legal advice here. Okay. So I got to preface this. This is not legal advice. And I also want to preface this with, I don't do a lot of trust work. I know enough to answer this question for the most part, but I don't do a lot of trust work. Okay. So I'm not going to be able to give you a fully detailed answer.
So before you see the answer, where do you...
do I see the answer or say the answer?
Yeah, no, what state do you think could be?
Kansas?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Kansas. Love it. All right. So when it comes to trust, there's a variety of different types, but it really comes down to two types. You have a revocable and irrevocable, okay? And it all depends on what you're trying to accomplish. A revocable trust will have significantly less protections than an irrevocable trust. Okay. Whereas a revocable trust as it says, is something that you can say, okay, I'm putting this into a trust, and then I can take it out of trust anytime I want to.
Okay.
That's a revocable trust. An irrevocable trust is the opposite of that. I'm putting it into trust, and it can never be removed by me, the person who set the trust up.
That's irrevocable.
That's irrevocable.
Okay.
Correct.
Can someone else remove from it?
Well, it depends how the trust is set up.
So you could say my grandkids can...
Yeah, you could do something like that. Again, it all depends on how the trust is set up. A trust is nothing more than a document that says, here's an asset, here's what I want to have happen with it.
Okay.
That's it. That's all a trust is.
Do you still own the asset, or does the trust own the asset?
Depends on how you write the trust. You could be a partial owner with a trust. The trust could own the whole thing.
I'm just helping Kansas out here by asking all the questions.
He's going to ask anyway. And so it all depends on how you write the trust. Generally speaking, so let's say it's a family business. Yes, you could take the business. Now, you would have to be the full owner of it, or all the owners, 100% of the owners would have to be involved, right? And you can take that business and put it into a trust. And you can say that is an irrevocable trust, and you don't have to specify when that trust expires or who it goes to or whatever, but you would say that it's for, let's say your last name is Smith, the Smith family for, 10 generations or something like that. But the issue happens, Cans, where what if, baby boy Smith in 2 generations doesn't want it? What happens then? It's in an irrevocable trust.
So now
what do you do with it?
Can the trust sell it?
I don't know. It depends on how the trust is set up. So you have to, this is why I don't do trust work, because trust work, it's so detailed. There's so many little nuances to it that a lot of times for trust attorneys, that's kind of all they do.
Okay.
Right. I mean, they'll do more than that, but a lot of times with very complicated trusts, that's all they do.
So you and I play this game every once in a while called "How Can They Sue Me?"
Yeah.
Right. Like, where we're trying to figure out like every single loophole that anybody could sue you for, and then we button it up in a contract. Right. So what you're saying is trusts are kind of the same. You need someone that has extensive knowledge of trust and knows to ask you all the right questions.
Right.
So that the trust is set up properly.
Correct. Because once the trust is set up and all the documents are signed, that's it.
The trust is really just a legal document on how to treat an asset.
Correct.
Whether you are still alive or not.
Maybe. Depends on the trust.
Right. Like
it could be the trust gets set up upon my death.
Okay.
Right. It could be.
Yeah.
Trust could be set up tomorrow.
Right.
It all depends on how you want to set it up.
But there's a million questions you got to answer. And then
Yes.
you also have to ask yourself basic questions like what happens if the third generation from me doesn't want it?
Correct.
Right? Like what if they want to be computer
Or
programmers
what if there is no third generation?
Right.
What if my children don't have children and there's no third generation? What happens then? Right? Does the trust then break? Well, who's it go to?
Right.
Right. So seriously, there's a lot of things you have to consider when trying to make some type of future trust.
Can you make a trust that is changeable by whoever takes over it?
Yeah, because every trust is going to have an administrator.
Okay.
And you can say the administrator has the right to make changes to the trust.
So if, let's say, for example, 2 generations later, that person can make the changes and they realize they are not going to have kids, they could figure out what to do with it at that point.
But the problem with allowing an administrator to make changes to a trust ad hoc is that they could just make the changes. You've passed on. They're the administrator. They no longer have to. They didn't have to listen to you anyway. But you're no longer around to tell the administrator what your actual intentions were. And now they're just going to say, "Yeah, sure, I'm going to give it to this guy over here." So you got to be real careful with that too.
Got it.
It's not, so it's really, really, again, this is why it's so technical and why a lot of trust attorneys, usually when you have someone who does trust, they do wills, estates, and trusts. They do it all together, right? And because all 3 of those are so detailed and so intricate that a lot of attorneys, that's all they do. And that's all they have to do because, again, there's so much involved with it. So, the answer to your question, Cans, is absolutely you can do it. But you're going to want to go to a trust attorney to make sure they do it right. Don't just use any, and this is just a recommendation like me. Like I do business and intellectual property, right? I can write a trust. I would never suggest have me write a trust for something like this because it's too detailed, too intricate.
Especially with farming.
Exactly. So, all right. Let's see. We're a little over time today, but we're doing good. I don't know.
It was an all TikTok day.
That was an all TikTok day. Look at that. I love it. That's great. How was that? Keep it.
Only took
there we go.
70 episodes.
Yeah, right now. No, it's 54.
50, yeah.
54, I think it is.
So. Well, we did. In all fairness, we didn't start going live on TikTok until what, like 2 months ago?
More than that.
No, I don't think so.
Ethan, when did we start TikTok?
No, TikTok Live.
Or TikTok Live?
A couple of months ago, right?
Had to be more. That would be August.
Yeah.
July.
Yeah, it was in July, right? 3 months ago,
so
maybe?
3 months ago.
Okay, it seemed longer than that,
No.
but still. All right. All right, for all of you on TikTok, thank you so much for your questions today, everybody. We really appreciate it. We will be back here next Wednesday.
Yep.
Same time, same bat place, same bat channel.
Yeah, 11:30-ish.
Ish. Hence, emphasis on the ish.
Yeah. Sometimes it's 11:45.
Sometimes it's Tuesday.
But we try to do Wednesdays at 11:30.
11:30-ish or so. And once again, a shout out to our non-sponsor, Arizona Iced Tea, Gummy's favorite drink. So Arizona, if you're listening, Gummy would love to hear from you. With that said, TikTok, thank you again, and we will see you guys next week.
Okay.
See you, man.
See ya.